Hello everyone, I welcome you all to Manu Law Class. In this class, we will discuss our The Hindu analysis. We will do the Hindu analysis, and our main concern for today is the E-law or the E-free speech right. Okay, so let's begin our discussion with the very first news written on the first page of the newspaper. That is, Ajit Pawar splits NCP and return as Deputy CM. So now in this particular news, you have to understand the what is happening right now in Maharashtra. So basically here the NCP leader Ajit Pawar had basically joined the NDA, and here basically he is appointed as the Deputy Chief Minister. So basically this is a post which has been like he has the largest record of being appointed to this particular post since this post was created in 1978. So from 1978 till now, he is the one who has been basically appointed for the fifth time as Deputy CM. So he will share this particular position with Devendra Fadnavis, who is also a Deputy CM of Maharashtra, and he is holding basically the portfolio like home and finance, which is a very major portfolio. So he will also share some power with him. Apart from that, 8 more NCP legislatures, they have also joined the cabinet. So who are they? Chhagan Bhujbal, he is NCP's close chief. Apart from that, Dilip Walse Patil and some good name like Atram Dhamrosaba. And apart from that, the BJP leader Gopinath Munde. They all joined the party of NDA coalition. Okay. So here we will talk in detail about Miss Tatkare. She is basically the daughter of Lok Sabha member Sunil Tatkare, and she is basically the first woman to join the cabinet of Maharashtra. So this was the important news about the new upcoming of the politics of Maharashtra. Apart from that, there is one more news, that is 4 killed in fresh violence in Manipur. So here basically we all know that there is a violence which is like started few days back, and here basically the violence is still continuing because of the Kuki tribe and the Mighty tribe conflict. So basically they are fighting, and because of that there is a lot of violence which is being faced in the by the Manipur people. So basically the people which are killed in this particular clash, in this particular fresh round of violence, is 4 people. And apart from that, you should also know that the internet, it has also been suspended in Manipur. So this was also in news few days back. Now we will discuss the other important news which is there in our next section, that is about the residents of unsafe apartment accept DDA offer of construction. So this was also in news, and apart from that, the next important news is about the chloride level. Basically, whenever the construction work is going on, we all focus on few important things like the cement, steel, sand, bricks, but we never focus on the quality of water. And this has been found in an IIT Delhi report, that basically the standard of water is also important in order to see the strength of building. So basically a real estate company commissioned the report, and here basically a housing project of Gurugram sector 102, it expressed concern with regard to the sagging balconies in the new apartment. So basically what is going on, there is a high level of chloride in the water present in these particular areas water. So basically they are used, this water is being used and this aggregate with the concrete. And due to this, because of this chloride which is present in the water, it leads to the initiation of the corrosion, and because of that there is an incidence of sagging of balcony, and apart from that buildings usually collapse because of this particular reason, as there is a high amount of chlorine present in the water. So this was a study which was recently conducted by IIT Delhi, and here they found that the water should be pure, or the water should be good quality, and it should not be contaminated with high amount of chlorine. So this was news, and this can cause a lot of incidents of building collapsing. Like recently in February 2022, two women were killed because their building collapsed. So this was the reason behind this, that high chlorine level in water, it is contaminating all these buildings. Now we will discuss our next important news, that is with regard to the, basically here there are few schemes. This news is not that important, but basically there are few schemes which we will discuss in detail about the Karnataka or the Telangana. Basically in Telangana, the BJP, the Congress chief Rahul Gandhi, he gave a speech, and here he talked about various schemes in Telangana. So basically you should remember about these schemes. The meeting was held in a 40-hectare outskirt of the fort town. So basically here he came for the Vikramakar Mallu Bhatti Vikramakar 109-day Padyatra, and here he basically covered a lot of distance, covering 1360 kilometers in 17 districts. And here he basically told about various schemes. So one scheme is Chayutti scheme. This is talking about basically pension which will be given to every widow, senior citizen, single women, physical challenged, BD worker, AIDS patient, and handloom workers. So basically they will be given a pension of 4,000 rupees under the Chayutti scheme. Apart from that, here there is also one thing, which is mentioned here, that patta will be issued to 8 tribal people engaged in Kodu cultivation. Basically, you should remember what is Kodu cultivation, the significance of Kodu cultivation, and where it is practiced and where it is more prominent. So basically, he was talking about other schemes of which was implemented in Telangana, that is the Kaleshwaram irrigation project, Mission Kakatiyas, and other schemes. So these are the important schemes of Telangana. So you should know about these schemes. Now moving further toward our next article, that is with regard to the UCC or the Uniform Civil Code. This news is a news in succession because a lot of article has been published in the Hindu last few weeks. So basically you should know about UCC or Uniform Civil Code or Article 44. Please read in detail about this particular article. Moving further toward our next particular important news, here only this thing is important, that Shah basically celebrated 74th birth anniversary of late Apna founder Sonelal Patil. And this day, the Jan Swabhiman Divas program was launched because of the anniversary or the birth anniversary of Sonelal Patil. So this is important, that what is Jan Swabhiman Divas and who is basically associated, which personality is associated with this. So you should remember the name of this thing. Now moving further toward our very important article, that is written in editorial, that is about the e-free speech. So basically there is an article published that the Karnataka High Court dismissed the Twitter challenge to issue the blocking order by the mighty in connection with the taking down of Twitter account and specific tweets. So basically this particular article talks about few important aspects, that is, first one is section 69A of the IT Act, which empowers the state to issue blocking order in cases of emergency on the ground such as sovereignty, defense of India, security of state, and friendly relationship with the foreign states, public order, or preventing incitement to the commission of any cognizable offence related to the above. So you have to remember this particular section, section 69A, which is there in the IT Act. So this particular article basically talk about two aspects. The first one is section 69A of the IT Act, and the next thing is about the Shreya Singhal case. So basically the Shreya Singhal case, in which the court repealed section 66A of the IT Act. Because under the section 66A, the court said that there should be some reasonable restriction on the freedom of speech, but it should not hamper the dissent or the right to freedom of speech of individual. So basically here the article is about relating the Shreya Singhal case versus the Union of India and the section 69A of this particular IT Act. So here basically it is said in this particular article that reasonable restrictions, this is something which is already mentioned in article 92 of the constitution under our fundamental rights, which is mentioned in part 3 of the constitution. So basically they are saying that reasonable restriction which is written under the freedom of speech under article 92, this is something we should like take into account. But the problem of this term misinformation and the fake news, this particular term misinformation and the fake news, it is not written anywhere under section 60 article 19(2) and under section 69A. So basically, this particular case of Twitter or any, there are so many cases which is seen in the news. These particular cases are being dismissed, or the Twitter is being asked to remove some content from its platform based on this particular clause, that is, it is spreading misinformation or fake news. And basically the court is relating these two terms with the disturbance of the public order, which is mentioned under section article 92 of the constitution. So basically the author here writes about that how are these two things related, and there should be like complete freedom of dissent, which is written in this particular article. And the court should also understand that there should not be any bias or something like that in favor of the government. So basically misinformation or fake news, it should be basically properly related with how it will disturb the public order. So this article is regarding this particular topic. Now we have another important article with regard to the National Family Health Survey. So your homework is to understand the main aspect of NFHS and which ministry releases NFHS. You have to write it in comment box that which ministry releases NFSH, National Family Health Survey. Now basically the NFHS, it is scheduled to be conducted in the month of July, and here basically they are saying that there should be inclusion of the topic of disability, which is not being included here. So basically here the main aspect is the recent decision of the union government to drop disability specific question. It is a problem. Basically all the people, all the activists who are working for the disabled people or disability, they are asking that this won't give a true picture of all the analysis or all the survey. So the question of disability, it should also be added in this particular survey. So this was the important news. You should know about who releases NFHS. Just comment it out in comment box which ministry is responsible for this particular survey and how it is helping us in providing various schemes. Basically NFHS survey helps in accessing or targeting a particular section. Like suppose if something is missing in our, like something, some disease is prominent or something is missing in our health sector. So basically this scheme, NFHS survey, this provides us to adopt or to make such a scheme which can basically help in catering all these problems of, like suppose, nutrition or health. Now we will move on further toward our next article. Here it is talking about a master plan. First, I will give you a brief idea about what is master plan. Basically, it is a plan which first, if we see in this context in which it is written, where the centers outlay a particular program, followed by state, it also outlay a program, and then the ULB or the urban local bodies. So basically with particular, like a master plan, it is an instrument of governance of the urban local bodies. So first the center will outlay a master plan, then followed by the state and then the ULBs. So basically this particular master plan helps us in policy discussion. Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, it recommended the master plan in cities should be revisited for improved governance in cities. Why this is being said by this particular ministry? Because there are some problems with regard to these master plan. The first problem is that it is a spatial plan. What is the meaning of spatial? Means, for example, if I have to draw a building, so I will make a outline. For example, here I will say this, there will be a kitchen, there will be a bedroom, or here there will be a toilet. So this is a master plan. But does it identify the problem of how sanitation will be maintained, or how there will be sewage disposal, sewage will be there, or how there will be suppose dirt management or something will be there. So basically these master plan are spatial in nature. They just allocate the how to use the land use, and they does not cater the problem of long term, like the sanitation or all these aspects. Now, second thing is that this particular master plan, it is based on 1950s model. So at that time, the need was different, and now the need is different. So this is basically, as I already told you, the master plan is based on center making some master plan, followed by state, then the ULB. So basically all three are adopting a model which was based on 1950s model. So this is the major problem about this particular master plan, and we need to reimagine this particular plan based on our long-term goal or long-term aspect. Now, this is also a statutory or spatial nature of master plan, and they basically constrain on the programmatic plan. So these things need to be revisited. Moving further toward our next topic, that is about the cryptocurrency. So we all know that El Salvador, it is the first country to adopt Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the largest cryptocurrency by the market capitalization as its legal tender. Now basically the news is about IMF concern over using these Bitcoins or these cryptos. So basically IMF on June 22 issued a statement on the issue of the cryptocurrency in the Latin American and the Caribbean market, and about the rising interest in the blockchain based central bank digital currency. So first, there are few points which you need to remember. That is this particular point about the El Salvador, that it is the first country in the world to adopt Bitcoin, that is the largest cryptocurrency by the market capitalization as its legal tender. Second important point which you should remember, that these countries in the Latin America, like the Argentina, Chile, Colombia, they are basically much more dependent on these cryptocurrencies. So basically they have been using this cryptocurrency in order to save their money or in a lot of terms. And apart from that, else IMF said, or IMF advised El Salvador that it can cause a fiscal risk or consumer protection issue. But basically, the El Salvador still continues these coins as their fiat currency, or they are basically legalizing it. So that is a problematic scenario, and basically the IMF is concerned about these problems. Now you should also know about one term which is written over here, that El Salvador uses a digital wallet known as Shibo to regulate the user's crypto transaction. So this important point, you should take a note of it. Apart from that, what this article says is, what is the difference between the cryptocurrency and the CBDC? What is CBDC? It is the central bank digital currency. So basically, a cryptocurrency is something which is basically run by a private company or individual, while a CBDC, as the name suggests, it is what? Central bank digital currency. So it is basically controlled and tracked by country's central bank, and it corresponds to that country's fiat currency. Now Bitcoin price, it can vary because we don't know who is its founder and what is the reason behind these varying price, and we cannot also claim anything about this because it is a private currency. Whereas on the other hand, the CBDC or the central bank digital currency, such as e-Naira, which is released by Nigeria, Central Bank of Nigeria, basically what it is a kind of legal tender, or we can say that it is given by an authentic organization, like the government of Nigeria has issued e-Naira. So basically these have some trust element associated with them. Now Bitcoin or the other cryptocurrency, they hold them in the hope of making profit, but it is not in the case of CBDC or the central bank digital currency. China government basically promoted its digital renminbi. Along with that, you should also know about a term that is e-rupee. What is e-rupee and which particular organization of India has launched e-rupee? You should link all these information with Indian context. Moving further toward our next important use is with regard to India-China ramp up infrastructure on the north bank of the Pangong Lake. So basically, we all know that India and China, they are fighting for this particular region around the Pangong Lake. Both are claiming their rights over this particular region. It is situated near Galwan. So basically, they are fighting for this particular area, which is located near the Pangong Lake. So basically, it is located in eastern Ladakh and the western Tibet area. Here, the China is basically completing a bridge across the Pangong Lake, connecting north and the south bank, whereas India is also building a black topped road on its side on the north bank. So you should remember what is black topped road and where it is being built. Okay, so we will discuss about this particular road. Here basically, apart from this, as we all know, the 19th round of the Corps Commander level talk, it was scheduled, but till now it has not been conducted. So basically it is on hold, but both the sides, whether it is China or whether it is India, both are basically constructing their infrastructure in this particular region. So basically the black topped road toward the Finger 4, where the Finger 4 area, they are basically, this particular road is basically expected to be completed by 2025. And also there is a major impetus of infrastructure, road networks, advanced landing ground, and these all things are being constructed near this particular area. And also construction work is at an advanced stage on the alternative area that is also critical because we also face conflict with China in these areas. That is the Darbuk Shok Daulat Beg Oldie Road through the Saserla. It is mentioned by the source. So basically you should remember about this particular area and you should also know about the exact location where they are located, nearby lakes and nearby important any monument if situated. So you should know about all these. Apart from that, the Chinese side, on the Chinese side, they are also basically building a main bridge, which is also basically, it will be helping the secondary bridge once completed. And this is a very large scale construction activity which is done on the north bank. Apart from that, the Shandong village, which is basically near the bridge, here also there is basically a road construction or the bridge construction activities happening near the Shandong village. A 22-kilometer tunnel is under construction along the Z0177 expressway at Yuli, which will connect basically G216 highway of Tibet. So here basically there are a lot of construction which is being done by the Chinese side and also by the Indian side. The budgetary allocation for the BRO. BRO is basically responsible for all these construction in Indian side. So any construction which is done near the border area, so they are basically done by BRO. So BRO budgetary allocation, it has also been increased, seeing the construction activities done by the Chinese counterpart. So basically here in 2023 and 24, BRO's capital budget was 5,000 crore, 43% higher than 3,500 crore allocated in 2022 to 23. So basically here, India-China border road plan, in this particular plan, a lot of spending is being done by the government. Now, we will move on toward our next important article, that is India, Myanmar and the Thailand highway. This is an important article because around 70% of the work of India, Myanmar, Thailand trilateral highway, it has been completed as said by Union Minister Nitin Gadkari. So basically Thailand and Myanmar, they are working on 1400 kilometer long highway, which will link the country with the Southeast Asia by land to give boost to the trade, business, health, education and tourism. So basically these three countries, that is Thailand, Myanmar and India, they are building a road to boost trade, business, health, education and tourism, and to cooperate in these areas they are building this particular road which will be 1400 km long. Okay, and this highway will connect More in Manipur and India with the Mysore in the Thailand via Myanmar. So these points are important. Please keep a note of all these points. Mr. Gadkari, who is the Minister of Road Transport and Highway, he did not provide any detail of the completion, but he talked that 70% of the work is around complete. Apart from that, you should also remember about the BBIN. What is this network about and which countries are associated with BBIN network? So this is all for today. This was a summary of today's The Hindu analysis. We will meet in our next lecture and we will discuss other important views. So stay tuned with Manu Law Classes for further update. Thank you.